From the ENN studios, I'm John LaSalle, where we continue our coverage of the massive earthquake that has shaken Salt Lake City and surrounding areas in Utah. The quake struck just after 9 o'clock this morning and has caused massive damage throughout the region. Early reports indicate that many buildings have collapsed, power is out throughout the region, phone service, including cell service, is out, and fires are burning out of control in several sections of the valley. The effects of the quake are far-reaching, with damage reported across the Salt Lake Valley, as far north as Ogden, and as far west as Tooele. Our team coverage starts with Catherine Lowe out in Tooele. Catherine, what's the situation look like out there?
Well, John, damage to the road into Tooele is actually preventing us from getting into the city to see what's happened. Damage to State Road 36, that's the main link between Tooele and Salt Lake City, has large cracks in several areas. We've also learned that a bridge into the city of Tooele has completely collapsed. We understand that sections of I-80 are also impassable because of extensive damage from the quake. So at this time, we just don't have much information as to what's happened in Tooele. From where we're at right now, it looks like the northern part of the Tooele Valley has been heavily damaged. Looking out over the Stansbury Park area, we can see several fires burning in the distance. Police have blocked all incoming traffic into the area. But one resident of Stansbury, who we talked to, said that at least half a dozen homes were on fire and that firefighters are having a really hard time battling the blazes because there's no water pressure. John?
Catherine Lowe in Tooele. Serious damage throughout the Salt Lake area is also being reported. ENN's Chuck Taylor is at the Salt Lake County Emergency Operations Center.
John, the reports we're getting are painting an incredibly grim picture of the Salt Lake Valley. Much of the metro area has suffered extensive damage. Power is out and many buildings are in ruins. Many roads and bridges are impassable because of damage, and fires are spreading in some areas as firefighters try to get a handle on the situation. One fire official we talked to said that their 911 system was overwhelmed and that several fire stations had suffered damage, adding to the already difficult task of responding to the growing number of calls for help. While officials have yet to make any official announcements, we've received reports that Magna Elementary School was damaged heavily in the quake, with possibly hundreds of young children being trapped, injured, or perhaps worse. Parents of these children are showing up at the school in an attempt to find their children. We've been told that other schools in the area, Brockbank Junior High and Cypress High School, appear to have only received minor damage. Downtown Salt Lake City looks like a war zone, with many buildings damaged or destroyed. A parking structure collapsed during the quake. We earlier talked to an attendant at one of the parking garages who said that at least 150 cars were in the structure when it fell and that people could be heard screaming from inside the rubble. And to make matters worse, we've been feeling aftershocks here in and around the area that are doing more damage and are making rescue efforts even more difficult, John.
Thanks, Chuck. Damage from the quake has reached as far north as the Ogden area. Frank Montgomery reports from the state capitol.
John, while damage from the quake appears to be less severe to the north, we've learned that several bridges have collapsed, including an overpass north of Layton at Interstate 84 and US 89. At least one person is reported dead as a result of that bridge collapse. The Davis County Sheriff's Department tells us that several sections of I-15 are impassable just north of the Salt Lake County line. The Sheriff's Department is also reporting that the oil refineries near Bountiful are burning out of control. There are also reports of widespread damage in the city of Bountiful, with information coming in that Lakeview Hospital has incurred extensive damage, including the collapse of the front entrance. I'm Frank Montgomery reporting from the Capitol. John, back to you.
So far, reports indicate that 500 people have been injured in the quake and at least 50 have died. Those numbers are expected to climb as emergency crews crawl through the rubble of collapsed buildings. Now, amid the damage and confusion, aftershocks continue to rumble throughout the region. Seismologists at the University of Utah say that sizable aftershocks have rocked the region, measuring up to 5 on the Richter scale. These additional tremblers have hampered rescue efforts, caused more damage, and frightened tens of thousands of people throughout the area. And federal officials confirm they are sending help to Utah. The Federal Emergency Management Agency says they have mobilized multiple teams, including search and rescue groups and disaster mortician teams, to help in handling the number of dead. We'll continue our coverage of the Salt Lake quake as details develop. From the ENN Newsroom, I'm John LaSalle.